Hi, I'm Alicia Michelle, and as a trained and certified Christian mindset coach, I've helped hundreds of Christian women discover brain science-based mindset tools to help them grow closer to God and break free from anxiety, perfectionism, people-pleasing, and feeling like they're never enough. The Christian Mindset Coach is the award-winning podcast that shows you how to use simple brain science principles and biblical truth to renew your mind for lasting confidence, joy, and peace. I'm so glad you're here. Grab a cozy spot and let's get started.
Hi there, and welcome back to another episode of the Christian Mindset Coach with me, Alicia Michelle. Today, we're talking about something that came up recently in one of my groups, the Christian Mindset Makeover. It was a topic that I didn't expect to talk about. We have these monthly calls or twice a month calls called Ask Me Anything calls. And the ladies come with just issues they're walking through in terms of as they're walking through the different stages of the makeover or just general mindset questions. And this topic that we encountered upon and kept kind of coming up in all of the conversations was around play and how it was a different perspective than I've ever thought about on play. How when we work through these toxic contracts, when we really understand, what can we let go of? What's our responsibility? What's not our responsibility? We're trusting God more. We're letting him change us from the inside on terms of how we're thinking of ourselves, how we're viewing our identity. We're seeing all these changes, which we work through in the makeover, that when that begins to happen, there is this beautiful fruit that kind of slips in the back door. And that is we find ourselves changing in that we have this space. We have this ability to play and be free and to explore and be curious and to connect with God in this beautiful new way. So I wanted to talk to you today about this, why it's so life-changing, how it can dramatically help our mental health and overall joy. And we're going to talk about specifically what keeps us from play, why it's so hard for many of us to find, including me for a very long time. What's that correlation between letting go and being able to finally let play happen? And how we can have a partnership with God and letting him bring play and fun. Before we dig into this topic about play, I wanted to make sure that you knew about that free gift that I have right now for you. If you haven't heard, I am offering a free training on joy. And it's actually different than maybe another training you've done on joy or learning about godly joy. And it's because it's specifically mindsets and habits that we can start practicing right now to put us in a place to be able to receive godly joy. So godly joy is something that comes from God by definition. It's a fruit of the Spirit in Galatians 5. But we have to be in a place where we're able to create that receiving mode so we're able to tap into it. And so there are specific things that I've noticed and found that when we begin to practice, it's so much easier to cultivate joy as a regular part of our life. So I want to share that with you in this free training. You can find it at aliciamichelle.com/joy. All right, let's talk about play. Play. How can we define what it means to play? Play, like I said in the beginning, is just this space. That was how one of the ladies defined it. It's freedom. It's letting God lead. It's having this openness in your schedule, openness in your time, openness in your mind to exploring and trying new things. It's being curious. It's asking questions. And it is really, really hard to find if you are not able to deal with those deeper patterns like that are keeping you stuck in feeling not enough, feeling unworthy, feeling unloved, feeling like you have to control the atmosphere of every single situation, feeling like you have to know all the answers, being mad at God. If you're stuck in those patterns, it's really, really hard to play because play is releasing. It's a letting go. It's something that we're not comfortable or feel safe in doing if we have all those dialogues going on in the background. So I want to say first off that the play that we're talking about here today is, of course, anything is humanly possible through Christ, right? But it's a lot harder to find if you haven't dealt with those things. So you can learn more about the really great program that I teach that helps us deal with those behind the scenes issues mentally. It's called the Christian Mindset Makeover. You can find it at christianmindsetmakeover.com. And that's a specific class that I walk you through the process of understanding how those thoughts got there, why it makes sense, what actions need to happen for you to find healing. And we lead you through a brain science and biblical process called brain priming, where we are rewiring those thoughts from the inside out subconsciously. Those things that, you know to be true logically, but you just don't quite believe it. Why is that there? That is the rewiring that we do in the Christian Mindset Makeover. So if you're feeling like, I want more joy, I want to be able to play, I want to, be able to be lighter, but it really is going to take learning to let go of control and learning to really release some of this baggage that a lot of us carry. Christian Mindset Makeover is a great way to do that. So check it out, christianmindsetmakeover.com. Two big obstacles in general, besides these mindsets that we're going to talk about is, number one, we might have this obstacle to play that we need to be in control. That play can feel reckless, can feel scary. We find comfort in structure and in knowing the outcome of something like, I know this is going to happen if I do this. I can think of someone in my life right now who that has been how they always deal with life, that they live a very small, confined life because there is safety in knowing exactly, or as much as we can humanly control, because, God always can come in and mix things up, of course, but by doing things the exact way, by going to this exact spot, by never stepping outside the bubble, there is a sense of safety in that. And play, oh my gosh, play by definition is unstructured, it's out there, it's unfamiliar. And if you think of kids when they play, it's just, well, I wonder why. I wonder what happens if I do this. I wonder what happens if I ask this question or if I touch that, or, they're always exploring and not afraid. They're just uninhibited. So we have to first deal with this fact that, play is about not being in control. And if we feel like we need comfort and structure and need to know the outcome of something, there's some questions we can ask ourselves to kind of begin to work through it. So the first question, why does it make sense that being in control is such a high value for me? Why does it make sense? Not judging yourself for, oh, why does it make sense? Like, what's wrong with me? But what's happened in your life to make it plausible that being in control is something that you want to hold on to? Second question is, what does it give me to be in control? How has that helped me in the past? And I put help in quotation marks in there, right? But what is my brain receiving as the result of me staying in control? Third question, how is my need to be in control actually hurting me? What are you missing out on? What are you not able to access? What is hindering you? What are those things that being in control is keeping you from being able to experience? Another question, am I willing? Am I willing to release control, even in a small way, just a little bit, in order to find freedom from the ways this is hurting me? Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to try? Because there are some people who will never understand or be able to experience play because they have held so tightly to that life raft of being in control. And that's fine. It's not like this is a salvation issue. We're just talking about the lightness and the abundant life and the joy of exploring this great world and being a part of being in God's great creation. We can miss out on a lot of that if we are stuck in this need to be controlled. But it's not, it's not a life or death thing, but your life is going to be a lot more enriched by being able to learn how to play. And then the last question with this is, how does my relationship with God fit into my need to be in control? This is kind of a tough question. And I know, honestly, when some women think about this question, they're like, I don't know, me and God are good. I'm good. One of the first questions we deal with in the Mindset Makeover is, has there been trust issues with God that have happened? Like ways that maybe you grew up in church and you know all the truths about who God is and how he loves you. But there is just, if you were to be really honest, there is a crack in that foundation, in your trust in God, or in your ability to just keep having hope, your ability to keep going, to really believe and follow God. There's no shame in that. In fact, I would say that is the first step to getting to where you need to go, is recognizing that and working through that. So are there trust issues with God that you need to consider in order to be able to let go? Because if you are not able to have that cloud of safety, that cloud of knowing that God is trustworthy, you're not going to be able to let go just as a human. So consider those things. If you feel like the biggest obstacle or one of the biggest obstacles for you to play is needing to be in control. Another obstacle, the second one that we're going to share here, is that play can feel impractical because everything has to have a purpose. Holy cow, this was me. And I loved hearing that there was several ladies in our group when we were talking about this live who felt that too, that they were like, why would I play? I have this to do and this to do, and that's not going to give me any sort of tangible check on my list or any outcome. Friend, are you tired of life's challenges stealing your joy? There are days when it feels impossible to experience joy in the midst of life's ups and downs. But what if I told you that there are practical, biblical ways to cultivate godly joy that isn't swayed by your circumstances? A joy that can be a rock in the midst of any life storm that you're facing. I want to teach you how to discover this sort of joy in my brand new free teaching, 10 Habits and Mindsets to Cultivate Extraordinary Joy. In this training, you're going to find 5 powerful habits and 5 transformative mindsets that allow you to set yourself up to receive the spiritual fruit of joy, even when life gets tough. Joy isn't just about thinking happy thoughts or ignoring reality. Joy is a fruit of the Holy Spirit, but we're in charge of setting our bodies and minds in a posture to best receive this gift. And that's what I want to teach you how to do in this free training. If you're ready to discover the habits and the mindsets to cultivate more Christ-centered joy in your life, go to aliciamichelle.com/joy to download this free class now. Don't miss this great opportunity to learn these practical science and scripture-based skills for free. Go to aliciamichelle.com/joy. Remember, oh my gosh, a couple years ago, I was in a mastermind with other small business leaders, and there was a woman in there who had a art studio, and she had this art studio for kids. And I remember thinking and asking her, okay, that sounds great. Like your kids make all these things, but then like, what do you do with that? And she was like, her focus in the art was just to have the experience of having the art, of just getting in there and playing and putting this together and trying this and trying that. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. As a mom, I would be like, all of these things coming out of there, like I have to hang it up. I have to put it in a book. I have to take a picture of it. Like, we're just going to let our kids have this experience. Like it was so foreign to me because I, at that moment, was still so locked up in everything has a purpose, everything has meaning, you know? And so that can be a huge obstacle because if we're really believing that on the inside, then, we're going to keep avoiding it. We're going to keep kind of sidestepping it. So here's some questions you can ask yourself. How does my need for everything to have purpose show up and how I perceive the things in my life? How I order my day, how I see relationships. Does this relationship have a purpose? Have you ever thought that, as disgusting and gross as that sounds? Is that something that's in your mindset? So how does that concept of it all has to have purpose, how is that affecting all the parts of your life? Another question, why does it make sense that you have this high value of needing purpose? How has that served you in the past? How has that helped you having purpose? There's nothing wrong with having purpose and what we need to do. We got to get stuff done. Like, it's not like this world needs us to get stuff done. You and I know that. So how is that helpful or been helpful to you in the current season you're in and maybe in the past? And then the third question is, what could be some of the benefits of doing something that didn't an official purpose? How could that change your life? How could that bring an added element to your life that you don't have right now? Just kind of wondering, thinking, I wonder how that could change things, thinking about that. So we can slowly ease ourselves into play if you feel like these are 2 obstacles in your life, which trust me, when I say I have felt both of these, and sometimes these still kind of come up and I have to kind of walk myself through them. We can slowly ease ourselves into play. And here's some ideas of how to do that. Start by just creating some small little windows of time in a week or even in a day where there's no structure. There's just 30 minutes of open time on your calendar without a purpose. The other day, my daughter said, Mom, when I go upstairs, after dinner, sometimes, I'm not like on my phone the whole time, but there's just times when I just find myself just like staring at the wall for 30 minutes. And I was like, oh my gosh, if I could have understood that at 16, wow, how awesome is that? Because what she's doing is she's just letting her mind go. She's just having open structure. And there's been so many studies that have been done about how creativity in our kids has actually gone down because our kids are so programmed. And so like when they're not in a certain, class or module or learning this, learning that, they're in front of a device. And it's like they have forgotten how to have play. They've forgotten how to have this open time of no structure. So we as adults can learn to practice that too. As part of that open time in your schedule, you might just have a time where you just let God show up and direct it. One of my favorite things to do is I try to do this like once a month. It doesn't always happen. Maybe it's every 6 weeks or 2 months, but I try to find a day, usually during the week. So it's not, something that's going to interfere with family time on the weekends, but where I can take a day off of work and I just say, okay, I'm going to go to this part of town or I'm going to do this sort of thing. Maybe sometimes it's prompted by an errand I have to do down there. And I'm just going to let God direct it, you know? Like I don't know where I'm gonna eat lunch down there. I don't know what I'm gonna do afterwards. And I just show up down there and it's like, he directs me to this really cool little store that has this thing, or I run into a friend, or I see a beautiful view that really inspires me. Or, I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing what can happen when you just go, God, I'm gonna open this time to you and I'm just gonna let you lead me and let you kind of bring it. And that has been probably the easiest way for me to kind of learn what it means to play. Part of that also has just been if I feel like I'm getting frustrated in my day, I am blessed in that I work from home. And so I can change where I'm working. So a lot of times I will find like I'm playing, so to speak, by sitting outside and working or going into my room in a different spot, leaving my office, not always in my office, or going to a coffee shop and working different places where it feels like it's refreshing. It's playful. Like, I wonder what I could do if I went in that spot. We can bring that into the everyday. It's okay. And that's part of kind of what the next thing is finding a way to bring fun and play into a chore or something difficult. I like to be able to take on a challenge. And so when I have to like clean the bathrooms or do the dishes, I'll set a timer for myself. And honestly, I heard about this first from Joanna Gaines, where she does this too, where she's like, all right, we're going to give ourselves 15 minutes and we're going to clean up this kitchen. And it's not like to try to be mean to ourselves. It's just like it's a little challenge for me to be like, all right, can I do it? Can I get it done? And it also helps me because I'm like, all right, I'm only giving up 15 minutes of my life to do this. I don't need to make it this big chore in my mind. Like it's going to take the rest of my day. No, it's only going to take 15 minutes. I'm going to focus. I'm going to get it done. And it just kind of brings a little bit more of element of fun and competition. And sometimes another great way to do play is to just take an extended time to unplug. Holy cow. This is something that is a very highly underrated gift, is all I can say. I didn't get this. I didn't understand this. And once I've started learning about the power of this, it's really something that's now a non-negotiable in my life. I have created a event in 2025 in September where I am taking a group of women to Italy to do this very thing. That I believe is the greatest gift of this retreat that I'm planning because yes, it's in Tuscany and it's beautiful and we're going to have amazing food and we're going to see incredible things and we're going to be connecting with God and working on some specific areas of growth in your life. Like we're going to do some work while we're there in terms of that kind of stuff. It's going to be amazing. But I really feel like so many women, especially working women like you and I, we have not learned or have not received the gift of being able to completely unplug. And I don't mean like, oh, I unplugged when I went with my kids and my family on this vacation. Like, yes, we can rest in different locations, But if it's anything like my family and a lot of the women I know, like, girl, you're planning it all still. Like, you're still planning where you're going to stay, where you're going to eat at night. You're still dealing with squabbles between your kids. You got to figure out how to get there. You got to calculate the money, like all of the things. On a trip like this, like, you just show up. And for 10 days, everything is taken care of for you. What you're going to eat, which is incredible food, where you're going to stay, it's the same place, this amazing villa on the hillside overlooking the village of Lucca. It's incredible. Like, somebody just says, okay, today we're going to go explore this town. And oh, by the way, here's your amazing breakfast. And oh, afterwards, okay, you have like 3 hours to just do whatever you want. Okay, now we're going to go and we're going to have dinner here. Okay. Like, you just up. When I experienced this through one of their retreats that the people who are planning this retreat, I went to one of them last year. When I experienced this, I was like, oh my gosh, like, yes, I am just your little duckling. Tell me where to go. Like, holy cow, to be able to lay down that mantle, I think is the greatest gift. So in terms of play, that is going to be the underlying theme behind the retreat that we're doing in Italy. So if you want to learn more about that, we are about halfway full right now for this retreat, but I know it's going to be an amazing way to be able to really, really dig into this idea of play with the Lord in a new culture, in a new experience with Christian women around you. So go to aliciamichelle.com/Italy. Okay. I hope that this episode has convinced you of the power of play and of the gift of play and given you some really practical steps you can do to begin to unwind yourself from some of these mindsets that keep us from play. And so again, if you want more information about how to work through some of these mindsets, the Christian Mindset Makeover is a great way to do some of that. And if you're looking for an extended time of play and a way to get away, check out the Italy retreat. Both of them are at my website, aliciamichelle.com. All right, friend, have a great rest of your day. I look forward to talking to you more and sharing with you on our next episode. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining me today for the Christian Mindset Coach. If you loved today's show, would you take 2 seconds and share a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts? I've got a special gift for you when you share a review, my amazing 50 I Am declarations, 50 statements and Bible verses about who you are in Christ. This is an audio meditation and a written statement that is extremely popular with my clients, and I want to give you access just for sharing your Apple Podcast review. Simply screenshot your review and send it to hello@vibrantchristianliving.com, and we'll send you the link to access the 50 I Am Declarations resource. Thanks so much for sharing your rating and review so that we can get the word out about the podcast. See you back here next week.